that bag, all the eyes on you. Yeah. Not only just from viewership, the critics, but also from, I think, from an opposition standpoint too, right? Because I think the narrative has always been with the Cowboys to have success against them, you want to stop Zeke first, right? But now that he's also got the bag too, now the pressure's on top, right? Everybody's focusing on him. And so the one stat that I look at that is telling is yards after contact, because that's been the thing that Zeke has been known for. You talk about his body lean and how he runs with the best body lean you've ever seen. But the other thing he does well is he breaks tackles. And it's yards after contact. And last year he led the league with 949. This year he's 8th with 566. And so that is the one thing I've always looked at and said that for a running back, and we have short careers in this league, anytime you start to lose whatever that superpower is, that's when people's eyes start to really focus in on, what it is that you're not doing right, and that's the yards after contact. I'm not saying he's not doing it right, but he's not producing as much, right? And breaking the tackles, the body lean, that's the thing that I've always looked at Zeke as being special. That's his superpowers, on top of not getting injured, because he is extremely, extremely durable for a back that takes that many hits, that gets that many carries, right? He is the workhorse week in and week out. And we're going on year 4 now of that kind of contact and that many carries. And so let me say that it is hard as hell to stay at the top in the running back position. And it is extremely...
At what time in your career, what year did you suddenly wake up one day and say, man, I just can't take the hits anymore. I'm losing some of my explosiveness.
I think it was after my second year in Detroit. So this might have been year 7 or 8. And I got injured. I was dealing with a high ankle sprain because the year before that, me and Joik Bell had set records for the most yards produced from a running back duo standpoint. But after that last year in Detroit is when I really started to notice from the high ankle sprain injury that I just wasn't recovering as fast, right? I wasn't bouncing back as fast as I normally do. And that's when I started to notice where I started to take a little bit of a decline in my career.
Right?
Well, it happens. I mean, you start to get dinged a little more, and the dings, they start to last a little longer because you can't come back as quick. Skip, you get hurt one game, and you're like, by Wednesday, Thursday, they give you Wednesday off. By Thursday, you start to feeling better, and then Friday, you're like, man, I'm good to go. And then all of a sudden, Wednesday, Thursday, lingering Friday, you're like, hell, I'm missing the whole week. I'm missing the whole week of practice. I'm just playing and not even practice, just playing and playing. Skip, but I still believe that if Dak can continue to play the way he's playing, you'll see Zeke numbers revert back, because they're going to have to start playing coverage, and they're going to have to, okay, we got to get pressure on the quarterback. Right now, Dak is having time to throw the football because they're holding in there because they don't want Zeke to run. Just like all these analytics and next-gen stats, teams have these also. And what the stats have shown for the first 3 years is that if you can control Zeke, you can control the Cowboys' offense. Well, Dak is doing a great job of destroying that narrative, because Zeke, what we've seen is that Zeke hasn't been Zeke, and they've still been able to win games. But it's going to take him, Skip, doing against playoff caliber teams for him to really convince teams that Dak has arrived in that area and that he can carry the Cowboys. I mean, doing it against he's doing it again. The Giants and Washington, the Dolphins. Nah, the Lions. Nah, you ain't convincing nobody. You ain't convincing nobody you can ride. Do it against the Saints. Do that thing against Minnesota. Do it against Green Bay.
Are you talking about Dak or Zeke?
I'm talking about Dak.
Okay.
I'm talking about Dak, because when you can control Zeke, for the next-gen stats and the analytics says if you can control Zeke, you can control the Cowboys. And what we've seen is that we haven't seen a whole lot. We see it one game here or there, because even though they bottled up Zeke against Green Bay, they did lose. He threw 4-3, they lost. Even though he threw for a ton of yards against the Jets, they lost.
And so, even in those games that you're talking about, the Saints, the Vikings, the Packers, they lost all those games, right? Those were the games where Zeke was held to under 100 yards rushing.
So Detroit, holding because Detroit, because what we see against Minnesota. He had an opportunity against Minnesota. What'd he do?
What did who do? You mix me up with all your who's. Dak played maybe his best game of the year against the Vikings, and the ball got taken out of his hands at the end of the game. That's why they lost. Or it would have been 31-28 Dallas.
But it
would have
wasn't.
been.
Kirk Cousins was going to drive him back down the field.
Cousins been playing
I've been saying this for a month on this show, and I'm doubling down today. I'm horrified by what I don't see from Ezekiel Elliott after he got $50 guaranteed million to sign. Once upon a time, when you got drafted second overall, you got a bag, but it wasn't like this bag, right?
I wasn't like, I didn't get 50 guaranteed.
No, 50 guaranteed.
We got 50.
He is by far the highest paid running back in the league.
Yeah.
And going to Detroit, I'm thinking, please snap out of it. Whatever funk you're in, slump you're in, if it's this or that, something off field, just snap out of it. Detroit was ranked 26th in stopping the run.
Yeah.
Zeke went 16 times for a grand total of 45 yards. Do the math on that. That's less than 3 yards a carry.
It is.
It won't work.
Nope.
Especially when 11 times you get fed the ball on 1st and 10. 11 times on first down, they said, here, do this.
Give everybody, everybody knows that's a run down.
Yeah.
So
You better throw that ball.
Yeah.
the stats are screaming something is wrong or different about Zeke. I think something's wrong here. I don't know. The picture is screaming to me. My TV is screaming to me. Ain't right. Not who you used to be, because I used to see him attack defenses with this supreme athletic arrogance of, I'm just better than you all, you know what?
Yes.
All of y'all. I'll just run over and through all of you. And he did it for 3 years. He didn't do it for 1 year. He did it for 3. He would have led the league in rushing 3 straight years, if not for a 6-game suspension in year 2. And I saw contagious rage that would turn into just dominating joy when he reached the end zone, and he would just howl to the heavens and do this because he was dominating pro football. Now he looks like he's plodding in Cabo San. He looks like he's lost his edge, his confidence. You hand it to him, and he's tiptoeing to the line of scrimmage. I'm like, just body lean him. Just explode up into the hole. Because you used to carry people for 5, 6, 7 yards. I'm not seeing that guy anymore.
But you
and
see,
what horrifies me is, did Jerry overpay at a time when his shelf life was starting to expire? It's possible.
Let me say this, because when I got to Detroit, going back to the same narrative, I had Scott Linehan. Scott Linehan recruited me to Detroit. Scott Linehan runs the ball really, really well.
All right. Well, that's who he
now,
was his coordinator for 3 years.
And that's who he had for those 3 years.
Right,
he was
that's
leading
fair.
the league.
Good point.
So I wonder how much of that is affected by the new offensive coordinator, the new game plan. Are they running those same type of runs? Because what you're saying to me is that he got the ball on first down 11 times in that game. Everybody knows that's a rundown. And so if
they've known it for 3 years, and they just fed the beast for 3 years, and they couldn't stop him.
Is it becoming too predictable?
You could argue, except his carries are actually up this year from last year under Scott Linehan. He's 194 through 10 games versus 191 through 10 last
I will say this. It's not about how many carries you get. It's about the efficiency of those carries.
Has the offensive line lost its edge? I don't know.
Skip,
blocking?
You know they're not as dominant as they once were. So you've seen more times than not the opposition control the line of scrimmage.
They appear to be pass blocking a little better than their run blocking, right?
Yeah.
So, again, sometimes, this is just, I'm doing deep psychology here. Sometimes you get paid like you never thought you'd ever get paid. You lose just a little bit of edge, drive, commitment, whatever that little thing is in the back of your mind. And I'm going to throw this out because it's been a recurring theme with this young man. He's had all kinds of off-field issues. Is there something behind the scenes that's troubling him we don't know about? Because he doesn't look hurt to me. He's never on an injury report, to your durability point. He's incredibly durable. But is it the Earl Campbell syndrome is kicking in year 4, where Earl just took too many hits too quickly?
Guys are starting to stick on you a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
But But here's the thing: you can run the contact when you're young, but after about year 3, year 4, Skip, and you still run the contact. Guess what happens? You don't run out of contact.
Running the contacts hurts, man.
It does.
Like it hurts. It's like MMA fighters. Who wants to do, like they said after Conor got his mega millions against Floyd,
right?
And Dana White saying, who wants to get up and get hit in the face after you've made $100 million? Now Zeke's got 50 in the bank, guaranteed. Not in the bank yet, but it's guaranteed he'll get it. And maybe he wakes up in the morning and says, man, I don't know if I want to do that.
No, but Skip, if you're wired correctly, you see a lot of guys. You see Aaron Donald, and you see the Watt. You see they don't lose that desire and hunger. You want to prove that you're worth it.
Okay. I want to hear Zeke get mad one day in one interview and just blow up and say, Okay, that's it. It's over. I'm promising you, this weekend, you watch what happens this Sunday. Watch what I do. I've not heard any anger out of him whatsoever.
Here's the thing, though, Skip. You can write all the checks you want to, but you better have that front five to be able to cash it for you.
I thought he did.
And that offensive coordinator, too.
Because remember, the front five got their bags, too.
Yeah,
All
they
of
got
them.
big bags.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you'll hear some anger soon, Skip. I know you're wanting it.
Out of you gonna have
I've heard
anger.
it over here.
I need you,
Plenty.
Zeke.
The anger.
Yeah.
Reggie, good stuff.
Thank you.
Just remember, you can catch Reggie and the rest of the Big Noon Kickoff crew for a 2-hour live special episode from Columbus on Saturday ahead of Ohio State, Penn State. I'm excited. Bundle up, bring your warm gear,
cold, too.
and I'll see you in Columbus. Guys, let's talk load management.